Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. Once again, we are visiting the Operation Desert Storm and examining the role F-15 Eagle played in it. Our pilot is Cesar Rico Rodriguez, whose kills number 2 and 3 have already been covered on this channel. This time we will cover the fight he was involved in and which could be called the only proper turning dogfight of Desert Storm. Before we start, let me thank my buddy Valley who helped me with this reenactment. This one really couldn't be done with AI only. You can follow him on Instagram at valley1_1. The link is in the video description. If you also want to contribute to your favorite channel, you can join our Discord server. The date is 19 January 1991 and it's day 3 of the conflict. Iraqi Air Force is putting up some strong resistance, but they lost 6 fighters on day 1, with only 1 air-to-air kill to their credit. 5 of those 6 Iraqi fighters were shot down by pilots of 58 Tactical Fighter Squadron known as the Guerrillas. As the operation continues, the squadron keeps a fast pace, its pilots sometimes flying 3 sorties a day. On the morning of the 19th, Captain Rico Rodriguez led a flight task with high-value assets Capt. This would soon change as a flight of F-16s and F-4s was directed to attack an ammunition storage area about 60 miles southwest of Baghdad. The strike wasn't on the original air tasking order, so the plan was changed on the go. Rodriguez's flight was now supposed to perform post-strike combat air patrol, covering the strikers as they were leaving the target area. Rodriguez left his number 3 and 4 to protect the tankers, while he and his wingman, Captain Craig Mole Underhill, followed the F-16s. This wasn't the last change in plans. Another guerrillas flight led by Rick Tolini confronted Iraqi MiG-25s ahead of the strike package. 2 MiGs were shot down, but Tolini's flight was now low on fuel. Rodriguez and Underhill now had to overtake the strikers and protect them from the front. As the flight of Eagles came in front of the strike package, there were 2 contacts ahead. One of them was to the northeast, while the other was to the northwest. The northeast one was estimated more dangerous to the strike package because the trailing F-16s reported being locked up by them. The northwest contact was handed off to AWACS control, which was supposed to direct the flight of F-14s to deal with it. The contact that Rodriguez decided to focus on suddenly split into 2 contacts. Iraqis apparently switching from a very tight formation to a more separated line abreast. They also started to drop their altitude from the initial 10,000 feet. Eagles 2 dropped from about 50,000 feet to about 30,000 feet. At about 12 miles, the MiG started a beam maneuver. They basically turned to exploit the Eagle radar's blind spot, which wasn't publicly known information at the time. They also stayed just outside of Sparrow engagement range. This was a very skillful maneuver whose goal was to draw the Eagles towards the Baghdad missile engagement zone. Iraqi MiGs were flying fast, but F-15s were able to keep up with them without engaging afterburners. At one point, radar warning receivers started to sound SAM alerts. Strike package leader now gave a code that the strikers had left the target area. Rodriguez realized he could now abort his pursuit of the Iraqi MiGs. However, he then received a call on guard frequency from his original Western AWACS controller saying, "Citgo, pop up contacts 330 for 8 miles. It seems that this was the original northwest contact which Rodriguez had handed off to the central AWACS controller, but nothing has been done about it. The central controller also didn't warn the Citgo flight about Iraqis approaching, so the western controller stepped in. Rodriguez was now facing with options either to turn towards the new contact or to disengage. The latter choice would have put him right in the MiG missile range. So he jettisoned his fuel tanks, put his radar in autoguns mode, engaged full afterburner and turned hard left. As his turn produced condensation ball, along with 3 tanks dropping away, his wingman Underhill thought that Rico had been hit. Since the target was now within 10 miles, it needed to be visually identified according to the rules of engagement. Rico got a lock and a spike on his radar warning receiver from a MiG-29, but he still wasn't allowed to shoot. He hadn't completed his ID matrix. So he went for a split S in order to get down low and make himself a hard target for the MiG's radar, pumping out chaff in the process. The MiG was at 8,000 feet, while Rodriguez went all the way down to 500 feet. His wingman Underhill stayed high and completed the ID matrix. He also got a confirmation from Rivet Joint that this was a hostile target, and he called Fox. Rico Rodriguez couldn't see the MiG, but the spike was to his right. The smoke plume from Underhill's AIM-7 helped him. He spotted the MiG moments before it was hit. What he didn't know at the time was that the MiG was jammed by an EC-130, and that is probably why the Iraqi pilot never launched a missile against him. Things were not yet over because the MiG-29 had a trailer. AWACS once again called Citgo, 2nd Group, North 10. Rodriguez turned north to face this new threat. He was still at 500 feet, his wingman was at 25,000 feet. Both pilots logged the MiG, but Rodriguez got a hostile ID, while Underhill got a friendly ID. This was apparently caused by the fact that being on higher altitude, Underhill's system saw some friendly target in the distance. Their opponent again needed to be identified visually. Rico spotted the enemy aircraft and started to climb towards it, but the twin tails made it similar to F-15 or F-18. Only after he crossed about 50 feet from his left wing, he saw the camouflage and Iraqi flag. Rodriguez then started a climbing left turn while the MiG chose a level turn. The F-15 pilot was now behind the MiG-29, and the flight developed into descending 360 degrees turn, which dropped him from 6,000 feet to 1,000 feet. At one point, Rico attempted to pull inside the MiG circle so he could launch the hard envelope Sparrow shot. The MiG's reaction was a split S. Rodriguez decided not to follow but pull up and invert his plane to keep his enemy in sight. The MiG hit the desert floor and kept tumbling. Rodriguez's Citgo flight was now low on fuel, so they disengaged. Strike flight was safe and they each downed one of the most advanced Iraqi fighters. Rico's victory was credited as a maneuvering kill. At his landing, Rodriguez decided to celebrate his victory by engaging his afterburners just before the touchdown, pulling up his nose and doing an aileron roll. This resulted in some serious chewing by the wing commander, but it was worth it. Those were victories number 8 and 9 for the 58 Fighter Squadron. By the end of the war, the squadron would have 16 kills. Cesar Rico Rodriguez scored another kill in Desert Storm, a MiG-23. 8 years later, he would score his final kill during Operation Allied Force over Kosovo, where his victim was another MiG-29 flown by Major Iljo Arizanov of the country then called Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. As already mentioned, both these stories were covered on this channel. If you liked the video, be sure to press the like button. You can also support the channel on Patreon to ensure future content and gain access to exclusive videos. Join our Discord server, subscribe if you haven't already, and keep watching Showtime 112.